and the 2001 Monaco Grand Prix is underway. Mazzacane, it looked like he's going to be leading the Grand Prix. He's now in third. In fact, that is a Sauber who's getting past Fernando Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen has passed his future teammate Fernando Alonso to get himself into 6th place. Right, hang on, something is going on this Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen was in the points place, he's now disappeared. I think I just saw a Sauber in a pit garage there. It's still Marquez leading with Verstappen second and Jenson Button once again causing another crash this season. Hang on, how did that happen? Jos Verstappen's lost the wheel. And Alonso, even though he's been overtaken, there's more chaos that's happened behind. That's Frentzen. Hakkinen hasn't scored a point this series so far, and he's not too far away from it. There are still 16 runners, but Bertie's got, well, not really much of a car left anymore, to be honest. This is a day for Tarso Marques to remember. He hasn't scored a point all season so far, but Tarso Marques is going to win the 2001 Monaco Grand Prix. Right then guys, it's PSL here, and I'm here for part 8 in my Formula 1 2001 Reverse Grid Race series. And we're here for the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, one of my favourite tracks actually on the Formula 1 calendar. And the grid, something slightly different actually. Fernando Alonso is starting from pole position. Now in qualifying he did actually beat Tarso Marques, he beat him by 1.2 seconds. The problem is for Alonso though, is his front wing was illegal in some way, so that meant he got disqualified from qualifying and had to start at the back of the grid due to that illegal front wing, which he had but Marquez didn't, which is slightly strange, but either way, so that's the case for Alonso. Pretty much his standard grid really. Jenson Button in third, so we could well see more from him. Marquez of course on a high from winning the Monaco Grand Prix last time out. I think that's pretty much everything there is to say really, apart from obviously, of course in real life, Ricardo Zonta replaced Heinz-Harald Frentzen, so wherever, I think Frentzen is slightly further down the grid because of course it was Zonta, and then, and I think that's it. Also, one thing I did notice when I was setting up the grid is that Mika Hakkinen in real life qualified in 8th, so that means obviously once you reverse the grid, he's quite a bit further up than you would expect, to be honest, and Montoya also in qualifying wasn't all that quick, so we could finally see something from Mika Hakkinen. Hakkinen, one of only 3 drivers not to score points, and it'd be fantastic if he can actually finally get some on the board and, you know, make an impact. But anyway, let's just head on into the Grand Prix.
The Gilles Villeneuve circuit just outside Montreal is very popular with both drivers and spectators. It's a combination of high-speed straights and tight chicanes, together with some superb scenery, making this a very popular venue during the season.
In pole position we have Alonso. Taking up 3rd position is Jenson Button. In 4th we have Gaston Mazzacane. And in 5th, we have Giancarlo Fisichella. In 6th position, Bernaldi. In 7th position is Jean Alesi. 8th, we see Eddie Irvine. Luciano Berti in 9th spot. Jos Verstappen, 10th position. Heinz-Harald Frentzen is in 11th place. Nick Heidfeld is in 12th. Juan Pablo Montoya is on row 7. Jacques Villeneuve is in 14th. In 15th spot we have Mika Hakkinen. Kimi Raikkonen is in 16th spot. Panis takes up 17th place. 18th for Rubens Barrichello. In 19th spot is Jarno Trulli. 20th is David Coulthard. Ralf Schumacher in 21st place. And last but not least on the grid is...
So Michael Schumacher is at the back of the grid. Thank you, Murray. But anyway, it's a Minardi front row, Jenson Button in third, and the 2001 Canadian Grand Prix is underway. So we got Alonso in pole position, Marquez in second. Who's going to be leading coming out of the first corner? It still seems to me Fernando Alonso is in first, but I think Jenson Button has passed Marquez, although actually Marquez is fighting back, and both Benettons, we could actually see a Benetton-Minardi duel, as I think Fisichella isn't too far behind Gaston Mazzacane. Well, actually he's right beside him now, and I think potentially Jenson Button, actually no, he's a bit further behind Alonso than I thought, but it's still Alonso leading from Button in second, Marquez third, Mazzacane still hanging on to fourth place for the time being, Fisichella in fifth, and Bernoldi currently was in the last points place. No, he still is actually. He has lost out to Giancarlo Fisichella there. So, still, I mean, there's a Jaguar in the back. I'm not expecting too much change at the moment, apart from obviously potentially Bernoldi to pass Mazzacane. But what I wasn't expecting was him to pass Fisichella as well. And in fact, Mazzacane is quite a bit ahead. So, in fact, the Prost that Bernoldi passed was Jean Alesi instead. But I'm expecting potentially some move. Oh, Marquez, that Minardi is horrendously slow in a straight line. I think Marquez, he's lost out. Whoa! There's an arrow that just went off in the background there. I don't even know what's happened. Unfortunately, once again, no replay mode in the spectator mode on this game. But there is an arrows off. Bernoldi's there, so that means Jos Verstappen has gone. So, just a reminder, it's Alonso from Button, from Mazzacane, from Bernoldi, Marquez in fifth, but his car is just horrendously slow in a straight line. Then it's, the auto director will stop messing up, Jean Alesi in sixth, but where is actually Jos Verstappen? Quite a way back. Really quite a way back, actually. I didn't quite see who he retired with, I just saw a flash of orange. But yeah, Verstappen lost out badly because he's in last. Oh no, and there it is, Marquez down into sixth place as Jean Alesi, not too surprisingly, has passed Marquez just a few seconds after I stopped commentating rather. But I think Fisichella is also going to be taking Marquez. Actually, maybe not quite yet, but further up, Alonso's doing a much better job than Marquez, but just in a straight line. So, I mean, I'm not going to question Marquez's ability to push down the throttle pedal. It's almost like his engine is just down on power, or he's got, you know, his gear ratios are set up horrendously wrong, because Marquez, quite quick round the corners, but down the back straight, he's just not getting anywhere. Hang on, where did Jacques Villeneuve come from? Villeneuve, he's in 7th place, so nearly in 6th. Last time I saw it was Fisichella and Jaguars behind, but then Villeneuve, he's suddenly emerged in a points place. Right, once again, Jenson Button very close to Fernando Alonso heading down towards the final chicane, but then once again, towards the back end of the straight, he just loses ground, does Jenson Button. And I think also, there's all sorts going on actually behind Jenson Button. We've still got Mazzacane in third, but then Alesi, I think, has repassed Bernoldi. I believe that's what's happened. Either way, Alesi's in fourth, Bernoldi's fifth. Jacques Villeneuve, well, not impressively, the exact opposite of impressively, can't get past anyone, although he has just got past Enrique Bernoldi. Well, I say he can't get past anyone, I mean, he has fought his way up into 5th place, so, you know, let's not, you know, libel him too much. That's probably not even the right word, but either way. Yeah, still Villeneuve in 5th. Both Prost, though, are fighting ridiculously hard. I thought they might be trying to work together to catch up to, I mean, Jenson Button, who's essentially being held up by Fernando Alonso, but, no, it's actually Jacques Villeneuve who's now got himself into 4th place, and I imagine within the next few seconds will be 3rd place. And there you go, Jacques Villeneuve into 3rd. He's still got both Prost fighting it out between them. I reckon that's going to happen most of the Grand Prix, really. And still, once again, on board from Jensen, he just loses a lot of ground. It's like Alonso has like an 8th gear up his sleeve that Button doesn't. It's so strange what happens there. But either way, I don't think there's anything particularly interesting, although one thing I did want to make mention of is Heinz-Harald Frentzen. I know in real life he was Zonta, and I said that, you know, that the poor qualifying Zonta had could play to Frentzen in this series. Well, he's in 7th. And let's not forget Jordan, they've only scored 2 points this season so far. They're second to last in the Constructors' Championship. For Jordan to score points would be rare, but also vital. What on earth has happened? Jean Lacey has passed Jacques Villeneuve, and now he's also passed Jenson Button. I didn't think the Prost really had it. I just didn't think the Prost was quick enough. If Lacey can pass Alonso first time around to take the lead of the Grand Prix, that would be extraordinary. He hasn't done that. Villeneuve's got past Button. He's still in 3rd place, of course, because Lacey just did an absolute driving masterclass. I mean, I knew the top 4 was quite close. I could tell that Lacey was catching up, but to catch up is one thing, to pass is quite another, but that's exactly what Lacey has done. I think that is temporary, because I can see Jacques Villeneuve is going to pass, and he has. And of course, one thing I've just realised is this is Jacques Villeneuve's home Grand Prix, so he's motivated more than ever to win this Grand Prix. Can he do it? I mean, all he's got to do is pass Fernando Alonso. It should be relatively easy for him, to be honest. Still got both Prost not too far behind. Minardi, amazingly, is still in 6th, despite the fact he's got Fisichella, Frentzen, and now both Ferraris behind. But look at this. The top 5, all right next to each other. This is ridiculous. I mean, right, let's see. We've seen this weird phenomenon. In fact, well, speaking of weird phenomenons, this is a Prost passing a BAR. This is very strange. But this is actually attack of the Prost, because Lacey's about to pass Villeneuve and Mazzacane nearly passed Button. But let's see if Villeneuve can actually contend with Alonso in a straight line. In fact, Villeneuve can't even contend with Lacey. And Jean Lacey, no, he didn't make the move, but he was damn close to doing it. I mean, this is incredibly strange right now. This has been a very strange Grand Prix so far. I mean, so many things have changed, even since just the last highlight you will have seen. But Alonso is still leading. Button's now in 2nd. Villeneuve's dropped back. I mean, I don't know what happened to Jacques Villeneuve's pace, but it has completely fallen off. Lacey's back into 2nd. Who knows how long that will last for. You may have noticed in the background there is a Ferrari in position. Last time I saw Montoya was in 6th. Well, actually, Michael Schumacher is now in 6th. He's getting past Jacques Villeneuve. What about Lacey? Oh, Fernando Alonso for the lead of the Grand Prix. And this actually, we could actually finally see a change in lead in the Grand Prix, because for the first time in a long time, coming down the start-finish straight, someone is side by side with Fernando Alonso. Lacey is in the lead. Can he hold on to it? And yes, he has. Jean Lacey for Prost is leading the Canadian Grand Prix. Who would have thought that? You would have assumed, you know, Villeneuve or Button, not Jean Lacey. I mean, Alonso's still in 2nd. He's doing amazingly well. Michael Schumacher is in 3rd. He's got to contend, though, with Jenson Button. Villeneuve, he dropped back, not miles behind, but still in 5th. You'd have expected him to have taken the lead of the Grand Prix easily, but then no one could seem to pass Alonso, apart from Jean Lacey and the Prost. And I think this could be, potentially, no it isn't, not quite, but if Schumacher passes Alonso, then this will be the 2nd Ferrari engined car to get past Fernando Alonso, but it's that hasn't happened just yet. Jenson Button still side by side with Alonso, but of course we've seen this situation many times before. No, we haven't actually. No, we haven't. Button has passed Fernando Alonso, so Alonso's slipping down the field rapidly. So unless he can extract some power from that Ford Zetec engine, and I just don't think he's going to be able to. And in fact, actually, Michael Schumacher driving quite erratically in the background there. Montoya has emerged into 4th place. So now we've got what I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe we've got a car with the most powerful engine on the grid in the form of the Williams with the BMW engine up against the Minardi with the least powerful engine on the grid being the Ford Zetec. So, polar opposites, this should be a matter of time before Montoya gets by, but then again, I said the same thing with Jacques Villeneuve, and look what's happened. Villeneuve, I don't even think he's in the points anymore. Actually, he is just about. But here we are, Juan Pablo Montoya behind. He got off the power. He got off the power. Why did he do that? It's like he got scared. I mean, he's got the power to potentially have another go, but no, of course, you know, not in that tight chicane leading up to the wall on the right hand side, not without causing a crash. He's got off the power again. This is strange from Montoya, but it's keeping Minardi in a podium position, but I'm imagining the Grand Prix is coming to a close soon. In fact, actually, not even down a main back straight, just coming out to the exit of the first couple of corners, and Montoya has taken the final podium position. Oh wow, there really are contrasting fortunes at Minardi. Alonso may well be in 4th, Marquez is in 22nd. I don't quite know how he's dropped all the way back down there, but Hakkinen is now up into 20th place. So things are going better for him. But anyway, coming down towards the hairpin, will this finally be the lap that Michael Schumacher passes Fernando Alonso? And yes it is! Michael Schumacher, I've seen him on previous laps. He is quick in a straight line, and he is quite erratic as well, actually, with his manoeuvres down here. So is actually Ralf Schumacher, his teammate. No, not his teammate, his brother, should I say, who is now in 6th place, and he might also pass Fernando Alonso as well. I think we could see both Schumachers overtake Fernando Alonso within a matter of seconds. And yes, he has. Well, he has for the time being, but of course Alonso, I think he is still close enough to potentially re-overtake Ralf Schumacher, but he hasn't. And we are on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Montoya's in 2nd. Unfortunately, I prioritised looking at Fernando Alonso. I knew Montoya was close to Button, but I was more interested in the Schumacher-Alonso battle than I was the Montoya-Button battle. But, crucially, we haven't missed out on any battle involving Jean Alesi. Because the weird thing is for, you know, I mean, I think Fernando Alonso was leading the Grand Prix for over half of it, and the Minardi's only got a Ford Zetec engine. Jacques Villeneuve had a few cracks. He couldn't get by. Jenson Button had a few goes. In fact, Button had a lot of goes. He didn't get by for a long time. Schumacher, Montoya, they got past eventually, but it took them a long time. Montoya, he is going quickly. There's no doubting it. He is... I mean, he's within a second, I think, of Jean Alesi. And unless Montoya can get later on the brakes, which he can't, Montoya, he may well have set the fastest lap. But more importantly, Jean Alesi in the Prost is going to win the 2001 Canadian Grand Prix. And there you go. So it's Alesi in 1st, Montoya 2nd, Button 3rd, Michael Schumacher in 4th, Ralf Schumacher in 5th, and Jacques Villeneuve took 6th from Alonso. In fact, Alonso dropped back behind Frentzen in the end as well. Well, there you go. And in fact, this is a little bit weird because I believe the Canadian Grand Prix, not in 2001, but I believe Jean Alesi only ever won one Grand Prix in his career, and it was at this track. And I also believe that this very Grand Prix was the first one where Michael Schumacher and Ralf Schumacher, i.e. two brothers, took 1st and 2nd, and this Grand Prix, they're both in the points. So there you have it. The 8th Grand Prix in this 2001 season, and the 7th different winner. That's unbelievable. That is a phenomenal statistic, and especially as Jean Alesi is the latest winner to that list of 7. That's honestly unbelievable. I would not have expected Jean Alesi to win a Grand Prix, but yet Hakkinen not to score a point. It's remarkable. And of course, I mean, Jean Alesi, as you can see, his average speed over the Grand Prix was slightly slower than Montoya's, but it doesn't matter. Alesi passed the line first. That is all that matters, really. And Alonso, he did well in the end. I mean, I was almost expecting Fernando Alonso to take his 2nd race win of the season, but alas, it wasn't to be. In fact, he didn't even score a point in the end. But Alonso did remarkably well, but of course, I mean, when you're coming up against Montoya, Ralf Schumacher, Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, and they've all got more powerful engines, you just can't really contend with that, can you? I mean, even the Lacey and the Prost had a Ferrari engine, which Minardi didn't have the luxury of, but, you know, quite a remarkable Grand Prix. Such a shame we don't quite know what happened with Jos Verstappen, but what can I say? Right then, so onto the Drivers' Championship, and Jenson Button obviously is still leading it, scoring 4 points this Grand Prix. He's now on 38 points, 17 ahead of Schumacher, or shall I specify actually Michael Schumacher, who he may well have scored 3 points himself, but he's only on 21. Ralf Schumacher got a couple of points, he's only on 17 though, and in fact actually, even if the Schumacher family combined their championship points, I think they would still be behind Jenson Button in the championship, because Button's got 2 race wins. Ralf Schumacher I know has got 1, but Michael Schumacher, astonishing as it is, I don't think he's got any. He's consistent with getting 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place finishes, but I don't think Michael's ever got a win this year so far. And then below that, Jacques Villeneuve has passed his teammate Panis. Montoya, he's up onto 18 points actually, so he has now jumped his teammate Ralf Schumacher. Jean Alesi, he has tripled his points count, so that means he's overtaken Rubens Barrichello, Tarso Marques, Fernando Alonso and Olivier Panis, and he's on the same amount of points as Giancarlo Fisichella and Jacques Villeneuve, and both of those guys have been stars in this season so far, so I think that says a lot about Jean Alesi. So now it's on to the Constructors' Championship standings, and amazingly, Benetton's lead in the championship has been cut, because as we know, Jenson Button this Grand Prix got 3rd place, so he scored 4 points. But Williams, with both of their drivers in the points positions, Montoya in 2nd and Ralf Schumacher in 5th, means they got 8 points. So they're on 35 now. Williams overtook BAR this Grand Prix, so they're still 18 points behind Benetton, but I think Benetton's form, as we get into the later Grand Prix, I think Benetton's form is going to worsen as it improves in the actual real life season. So we could see that lead, and not to mention Jenson Button's Drivers' Championship lead cut substantially. But then Prost closed up to Minardi, so actually not a fantastic day in the championship overall for Minardi, still in 5th, but now they've got a team to contend with directly behind them as Prost. They were the team actually directly behind Minardi on 9 points, but now they're on 19, only 4 away, so Minardi coming under threat from their top 5 Constructors' Championship position. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and next time it's the European Grand Prix around the Nürburgring. So I'll see you then.